medical individuals and professionals, and found that there was an immunization protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates. And it was a long-term protocol that involved, multiple months. And I'm very, proud of the research that went into that. The individuals that I met with, and we felt like it was what was best for me.
And according to ESPN's Rob Demovsky, any penalties levied against Rodgers by the league will not include a suspension. Trevor Siemian will start Sunday for the Saints. Sean Payton made the announcement today. Giants running back Saquon Barkley will likely miss his 4 straight games Sunday due to an ankle injury. He was activated from the reserve COVID-19 list on Friday. NBA on ESPN TV, third quarter, Bucks at home and leading the Knicks right now 69-65. Grayson Allen, 5 threes and 17 points in the first half for the Bucks. Astros announcing Friday Dusty Baker will return as manager next season.
We're back on Monday reacting to the opportunity for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to win a second straight game and an opportunity for Jordan Love to prove himself. Monday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio.
1, 2, 3, it's Friday night. This is the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Well, this is it. We've done 10 of these now here at the Blitz Scoreboard Show, and now it's week 11. It's it for the regular season in Northeast Florida and in the state of Florida. When it comes to high school football, we've made it this far. Playoffs on the horizon, and this is it for some teams for their season, for their careers. And on a rainy Friday night with a nor'easter in town, actually where I wasn't probably as bad as it could have been. Maybe a little worse earlier in the day than it ended up being at night. Now, I can't speak for all parts of the area, but, we got wet. But I thought it might be even a little bit worse. So at least that's some of the good news. And teams are playing. We have some cancellations, but we didn't have as many as we thought we might get. Bowls canceled and Providence canceled. But overall, a lot of teams ended up playing either last night or here on this Friday night. RPIs will be in the books by tomorrow evening. And, well, the selection show for the FHSAA playoffs will be on Sunday. So everyone is looking at that if you're not already automatically in the postseason because of a district championship. And a new system is in place over these last couple of years, interrupted by COVID. And now we will see how it works and how it shakes out. But a lot of teams on edge and keeping an eye on the numbers and calculations coming up over the weekend. Brent Martineau here with Casey Kurtz. We take you right up until 10:30 on the Friday Night Blitz on the TV side, 10:30 on Fox 30. We show you and begin the show with Creekside Ponte Vedra. I was just down there, just hustled from there. It was 10-10 at halftime. And 23-19 now the score. Ponte Vedra driving and just picked off by Creekside as we begin the show. So the defense of Creekside comes up big. Creekside trying to punch their ticket to the playoffs. We believe that even if they lose, they might be able to get in. But you want to win and take care of business, as Sean McIntyre said a week ago right here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. That's a huge play. Creekside special teams has been a disaster so far today, but they come up big on defense and lead it 23-19. Let's bring in our Hall of Fame coach, Kevin Sullivan, as he joins us each and every week, and he gets to make sense of all the nonsense when it comes to the postseason coming up. Former coach at Ed White, former coach at Jackson, former coach at Atlantic Coast, and now retired, sitting by the beach on a nor'easter kind of Friday.
Yeah,
and talking some high school football nice and dry here on a Friday. Don't have to wait any of these RPI calculations out, Coach. Good evening to you.
Hey, Brent. I hope you're doing good. Casey's doing good in the studio. Everything's moving around. But, yeah, man, there's been some interesting games with the weather. I thought was going to be bad, but it looks like I'd seen a couple highlights from all over the place. A lot of rain moved in and moved out and then moved back in a little bit, but it didn't stick around like it's been doing some places.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you just don't know how it's going to shake out. We had some cancellations, but, people want to play. We'll talk about this a little bit later, a little soapbox for me on some of the cancellations or what Tocoi Creek and Menendez are trying to do on Tuesday. But at the end of the day, Coach, it's about the kids, right? I mean, some of you seniors, you never play again. Football's one of those sports where you can play baseball and go play in the adult league. You can go play baseball and play wiffle ball. You can play adult league softball. Basketball, you can play until you're whatever. Golf, we can play for whatever. Football's one of those sports. You put the helmet away on a Friday night in your senior season here in November. It might be the last time you ever play football again.
Yeah, it's one of those sports that when you walk away and you put your stuff up, you're not going to go down the road. Some guys try to extend, play a little semi-pro, but really by the time unless you're playing professionally, but by the time you're 22, 23, that team sport, that Friday night feeling, that one-time deal with your guys for the season and everything is gone, and you're sort of lost right there on it. So, we got to try to get a couple of those made up early Monday, Tuesday to help some of these seniors, just some of the guys get out there for the last time.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with some of those games, of course. We talk about some bubble teams. I guess one of the biggest teams on the bubble in our area is St. Augustine. We had that game. We started the show last week with that big game against Gainesville. They end up losing 17-14. Now they're taking care of Palatka in the oldest rivalry game, really, in the state. It's the oldest matchup in the state, I think 103 times now.
Yep.
They've met each other. And so St. Augustine's getting the job done, but they really have their eyes on, all different parts of the state to see if they can get a little help because they're ninth going into the night, and they need to get to the 8th position, and they need the calculators to work in their favor.
Yeah, and that means some of the teams that they played winning, so Bowles not playing hurts them a little bit. Gainesville High done with their season, so they're not going to help them in the RPI. So some of these teams that maybe got canceled will maybe hurt St. Augustine's chance of picking up a point or two extra moving on and moving forward. They played a really solid schedule. Coach Braddock, they do a tremendous job over there, so they're just got to wait to see what happens out there with Golf Breeze basically in Navarre. Who's a Golf Breeze 6A out in the Panhandle, and then Navarre 7A. Then they're both the 8 seed, so they're both basically to me in a playoff game.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how those shake out. And, here's the thing, Coach. We know what goes into the formula, but we really don't. It's not like we can do the formula. I remember a couple years ago when they changed the system around, like Stuart Weber and his 1,400 SATs was crunching numbers, Like I know Brian Braddock actually is a numbers guy, but I'm not sure anybody exactly knows the formula. Maybe somebody does, but like I've kind of joked all years, like who's checking the FHSAA's math on this?
Right. Well, the funny thing is, and we talked about this 4 weeks ago maybe, but it looks like Columbia is going to be the 4 seed and Riverside's going to be the 5 seed, and they're going to play round 1 in Lake City.
Wow. How about that? I mean, we know all about that game, right? I mean, that thing has been crazy over the years.
So it's crazy because Riverside got a playoff win tonight over Ed White, 28-14. That one's gone final, so that's a good win. They're 9-1. And then Lincoln got a big playoff win over another playoff team, Trinity Christian last night. So even though they may gain some extra points by the win, I don't know if Lincoln's going to have enough to pass Riverside. So we may get a district rematch week 1.
Yeah, and Sunday is really the day to see all that and how it shakes out. Let's get everybody caught up on the scores and show you the latest of what's going on around here on a Friday night. And some of the scores, by the way, from last night, if you're just jumping in, Sandalwood beat First Coast 33-14. Mandarin and Fletcher 26-20. So Fletcher loses twice to end the year. Now, they had already clinched the district championship, Coach, in 7A. They're district champs to go in the postseason, but both Mandarin and Fletcher go 5-5. Sometimes you just got to win the ones that matter, and Fletcher was able to do that and squeak by with a couple big wins earlier in the season.
Yeah, they've sort of been up and down, and again, they've got a lot of different things going on. Staff changed late, Theatric Phasing coming in there, started 0-3, won the next 5, won basically all the district games, I think by 3 points or less on every one of them, which is a tribute to them, and then they've dropped the last 2. Ponte Vedra in a surprise won more than anyone, I think. Not so much surprise maybe last night because Mandarin plays as well as anybody at the end of the year. But they're going to have an outside in. They're going to have a tough go early going on the road and at home in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. Trinity, you mentioned, lost to Lincoln last night, 19-6. Nice with a nice win, 39-0 over West Side. I mean, they're in, right, Coach?
Yeah, I think Nice is definitely in. It looks like they're going to end up being the 6th seed. Only bad thing is they're probably going to have to go to Niceville round one, which is not an easy. It's a great place to play, but not an easy place to play on there. And
I know you've done that before.
yeah, I hadn't fared too well in the Panhandle. I think we were 1-4 in all my years heading out to the Panhandle.
I remember the one game. You probably didn't want me to bring it up.
No.
I think it was 7-6, wasn't it?
Yep, 7-6.
I mean, that was right early when I got here. I just remember. I mean, you guys had a good squad too. I mean, that was just one of the. Well, one thing when you go on the road, you don't get the good. You usually don't get the benefit of calls.
No, and not in the Panhandle too. And like we were 4th and goal from the 6-inch line, and we got quarterback sneak and surge, and we ended up the ball on the 2-yard line. The things you bring up, it hurt my stomach now, and that's like Brett. The funny thing, that's like 11 years ago.
I know.
And I can remember it like yesterday.
Well, here's the deal. Not only do you remember it, I remember it, and I wasn't even there.
That's funny.
So it's funny how we remember some of these things. Flagler Palm Coast beat Matanzas 40-0. I was down at Bartram Trail. You know, Buchholz is really good, Coach. 28-13, they're beating Bartram Trail. Senior night down there for the Bears. Looks like they'll finish 8-2. Buchholz has the folks down there were telling me one of the best teams they've had in a while.
Oh yeah, they're loaded. He's done a really good job. Really good job there. I think this is his maybe 8th year. He was in our district when at Atlantic Coast in 13 and 14, 15, 16. Those 4 years we were in the district and played against him. Really good job. His son plays wideout University of Florida, the head coach Whitmire, and just done a tremendous job at Buchholz. And they're really good. They beat some quality teams this year on their schedule.
Yeah, the QB's good down there as well. I think that's his son too, right?
Yeah, that's his son too. And then they've got Quan Lee, the big-time wide receiver DB kid that's really, really special. So
No, go ahead. Sorry.
They got a really good team, man. I'll tell you a little funny story if you don't mind
about
them. So we go over there on Thursday of Florida, Georgia, and we play over at Citizens Field. And they come out, they're bloop kicking everything. So the first kickoff they kick, we bloop kick it. We throw it back across the field to Step Durham. He runs down the sideline to the 20. We run toss, sweep, reverse, first play, touchdown. Okay, we end up winning 28, I don't know, whatever it was. So they come to us the next year. They come out first play. Shane Matthews is the offensive coordinator. They come out double reverse throwback to the quarterback on the first play down the field for a touchdown. Wow. I look over at Whitmire. He looks over at me, and we both laugh like, oh, shit, oh, crap, he just outdid me one, you know? He just upped me one from a year ago. So it was sort of funny, man. He's a really good guy. Really
that's good stuff. Yeah, that's what you talk about later on down the road. Boy, you just Step Durham, you said, right?
Yeah,
gosh,
Step
I
Durham.
remember that name.
Yeah, good kid, good player.
Well, the quarterback over there was good tonight. Looks like Bartram Trail is going to lose 28-13. Well, they're down 28-13. We'll see if they can come back, but they'll still go in the postseason in 8A, of course, as a district champ from around here. PK Young, 27-8 over Keystone Heights. Hey, one more thing I knew I lost my train of thought for a second. I wanted to bring up from that Bartram game. You mentioned Quan Lee. They had a good battle going with Sharif Denson.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, you could tell those guys were going at it. And what was cool is from Whitmire's standpoint, like they were going after him too. Like they were letting those guys have a chance at it. Like, a lot of times you just won't go after that matchup or keep it away or whatever. And it was cool. Like you could tell they wanted to kind of showcase that matchup a little bit at times.
Right.
And they say, hey, we think our guy's better. And Sharif, at least when I was there, Sharif was holding his own, doing a really nice job. So nice little matchup between two really good players. On the outside. Not often do you get that, Coach, right? I mean, listen, you might have a really good corner. You might have a really good receiver. But I think at the high school level, it's tough to find a matchup where you get them squared up together on a Friday night.
Yeah, and it's a good one to have that battle because those two guys, it's not like, they're going to play each other again because they're 8A and 7A. So you get an opportunity to bring two really good players together. It's back in the day we had Seatric's last game at Fletcher. They were 8-1, we were 9-0, and we had Leon, and that was a great battle. Those two guys had to sort of battle against each other 20-something years ago. But yeah, man, it was it's pretty cool to watch the kids go after it and the coach not be afraid to get after it and let their kids compete.
Casey, did you just see Creekside? Did they miss a field goal or did they get stuffed on fourth down? I was yapping away.
They got stuffed.
They got stuffed on fourth down. So big stop by Ponte Vedra, by the way. 23-19 is the score. Creekside in the lead and now at their own 4-yard line. Ponte Vedra takes over with 8 minutes to go. And now we'll see if Creekside's defense can hold up once again. That's the one you're watching. If you're watching Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, you can see that live action. We're going to take you to Oakley Fleming Island just a little bit as well. PK Young beating Keystone Heights. Keystone Heights coach was undefeated. PK Young's up 27-8.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's a little shocking. I mean, PK Young they played Baldwin early in the year, real tough, real good. They're fighting. They're sort of in the mix at 4 right now in the 3A, and this would be a really big win for them. I don't know if it'll move them to 3 or not, but that's a pretty good size win. I thought Keystone was going to finish up, go 10-0, and I don't know. We'll see what happens as it finishes.
Big defensive play right here by Creekside. If you're watching that one, Ponte Vedra went for the long ball, and Creekside deflected it. So plenty of time left in that game, so we keep you posted on it. Bradford beating Fort White 33-6 tonight. First Academy over North Florida Educational 35-0. Eaglesview losing in the playoffs to Santa Fe Catholic 22-18. Plenty of time left in that one. Bishop Kenny, Coach Episcopal, 28-0. Big first half for the Crusaders, who look like they're going to finish off. What a turnaround season this has been for Coach Krause.
Well, remember early on they got out for a jump on Baker County, jumped on them 21-0, and then they battled back, lost 35-14, and then Ed White was a dogfight with them. They ended up losing late, giving up a late score. I think they lost maybe 28-24 in that one. So all 3 of those teams out of that district are going to be in the playoffs. It looks like, which is really a tribute to those kids, those coaches in that district, really playing good football.
Yeah, absolutely. Ponte Vedra and Creekside. This says 10-10 here on our scoreboard, but we're obviously showing it to you. The scoreboard that we're showing you, the video with 23-19, that's the updated one. Sometimes these scores aren't updated where we get them from ScoreStream. Fleming Island 19, Oakleaf 17 at the half. Looks like they're coming out of the gates there in the second half. Up there, Brunswick beating Effingham 21-3. Hilliard over Holmes County 12-7. Riverside 28, Ed White 14. You mentioned it. Riverside now primed for the playoffs, Coach, but it could be against Columbia, and it seems like that's an annual event.
Yeah, and they're really, I think since the loss, they've really sort of tightened things up. I think the kids really saw that how they played, turning the ball over 2.5, 3 times they've averaged a game, and they've cut down on that a little bit the last couple of weeks. But I think it really sort of woke those kids up. I talked to Coach Small after the loss, and he just said the kids just walked around like it didn't matter what they said. They were always talking about doing the little things, taking care of the ball, and I just think they thought they were going to be invincible. And that might have been the best thing to happen to Riverside, them losing that game to Columbia early in the year.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen. I know you like this one a lot. How about Inglewood? They beat Wolfson 46-0. I'm not saying you like it to beat Wolfson,
right,
but the fact that Inglewood got to 5-5, I mean, what a milestone to get to 500 for Inglewood tonight.
Yeah, and we talked to Coach the other day on the phone, and that's one of those jobs. You've been around here a long time. You've seen the different coaches, 2, 3 years, 1 year coaches roll in and out of that place. And Coach Arvidsson's gone in there, struggled a little bit his first year. Of course, it was a COVID year. And then this year being able to go 5-5. And like he said, we're just trying to keep our kids that are ours and stay here. And now we've got some excitement. We're winning games. Everybody's sort of buying in. And that's exciting for that school to get back on it. I mean, I think earlier we talked about maybe 2006, they were 5-5. Might have been the best record in a while for them. So really hats off to Coach Arvidsson, his kids over there, the administration at Inglewood, and just hopefully they keep it going and they can keep building.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this, another big win. Your former school, Atlantic Coast, beat University Christian tonight, 28-21. That's a nice win for AC. They really came on strong in the second half of the year. I wonder what that means for down the road for the Stingrays.
Yeah, I think they definitely secured their spot. It just depends on, like I said, where they're going to end up in it. I think they won't catch Nice. Nice is at 6. AC's at 7. That puts them traveling to a really good Spruce Creek next week if everything holds up. But that's a great job, Coach Montemayor. Last year they got in. We know everybody got in because of COVID, but then he took advantage and won 2 playoff games. And now this year, which really graduating his quarterback and his top player, one's at South Florida, one's at Illinois. Pat Bryan, Illinois, Ridge Jacobs at South Florida. Just a tremendous job by him. 6-4, winning some real quality. The Creekside win's huge. I think this win's huge. You know, they lost to Nice. They lost to Fletcher by 2. So just real excited for Coach. You know, personally, I've known him a long time. And really real excited for him, his kids in Atlantic Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. A good thought. You know them well, and that is a nice win. Baker County beats Baldwin 49-21, by the way. So there's a lot happening here on everybody's scoreboard, watching a little bit, and you're keeping an eye on Creekside Ponte Vedra. That's 23-19 right now is the score. Creekside holds on to the lead, and there's 5:52 to go in that game. You can watch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, right here, live on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Let's take a break, Casey. We come back. We'll get some coaches on. We had some winners from last night. We'll try to get some coaches on from then and some winners tonight. What it all means. The last week of the regular season. A little bit later, we'll have Committed to the Uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports. We appreciate Baker Sports' support of our Blitz Scoreboard Show the last couple of years, and especially this year, and also to the University of North Florida Ospreys. Big Hall of Fame induction ceremony tomorrow night. We talked to Bo Beach, one of those guys going in this afternoon, our Action Force Shacks on ESPN 690. So big thanks to the UNF Ospreys. Go check out unfospreys.com for their support of high school sports here in the local area. We'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We call it the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Take you right until 10:30, and we hand off to the Friday Night Blitz on Fox 30 as well. We'll be right back.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
The rain, heavy at times, and gusty winds continue overnight through Saturday morning. Temperatures tonight in the low to mid-50s. The rain will gradually diminish west to east in the afternoon on your Saturday, but temperatures will only be in the 50s all day long. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Do you know what it takes to be a successful business owner? If so, share your advice with someone who is eager to learn from your experience. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE is always looking for people willing to offer their time and expertise to mentor current or aspiring entrepreneurs. We need volunteers from all areas of business, including accounting, finance, human resources, sales and marketing, as well as legal. If you're interested in joining our team, click on the volunteer tab at jacksonville.score.org.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport. Baker Sports has been doing that since 1997. Find them at bakersport.com. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. They have screen print, embroidery, trophies, all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Like I mentioned, homegrown. Baker Sports will get you ready for your big game, looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker Sports. Go to bakersport.com.
In today's world, there's a lot of ways to know what's happening. At Action News Jax, we make sure our local stories have more detail, so you get every angle that impacts you. We dig for answers because you deserve the whole story. Taking time to provide context so you're clear on what's really going on. Because we know information is thrown at you 24/7. And we want you to know that Action News Jax is local coverage you can count on.
There's no way that's used. Get ready, because you're going to hear that a lot after you buy an amazing, like-new, pre-owned from our friends over at Arlington Toyota. Arlington's got 300 used available. All makes, all models. Plus, you'll buy with total confidence thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange program that comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Hey, welcome back, Blitz Scoreboard Show. We keep an eye on some of the games locally. You can watch some of the video, live video of Creekside Ponte Vedra. We're going to take you out to Oakley Fleming Island as well. Right now, Creekside 4-point lead late in the fourth quarter over Ponte Vedra, trying to make sure they clinch that berth to the playoffs. And meanwhile, Fleming and Oakleaf, always a really good game. Neither team's going to make the playoffs, it looks like, but we'll take you live there in a little bit as well. Brent Martineau here, Kevin Sullivan as well. We call it the Blitz Scoreboard Show, presented by Baker Sports and also the University of North Florida Ospreys. Check out the Ospreys at unfospreys.com. And we'll keep running down some of the scores in the tight games. But let's bring in a winner from last night right now, Coach. And we've got Nice High head coach Colin Drafts with us. And nice win for you guys last night. Put a bow on the regular season. It looks like you're playoff bound, Colin. That's a heck of a season for you guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it felt good. We were glad to get it in last night in some good weather. Fortunately, we had senior night and it was homecoming, but boys played well. Another complete game again and got the W, and now just looking forward to, like you said, hopefully starting the playoffs next week.
Yeah, you'll have all eyes, I guess, on Sunday and find out your opponent. Have you already done some of the math where you might be playing? I mean, we were talking potentially Niceville. Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah, we've got the coaching staff in a group thread, and it's the text is going off every 30 seconds talking about scores and trying to do the math. And I'm just like, look, I said, hey, I'm sitting here watching football. We'll figure out who we play on Sunday. That's all you really can do with the RPI stuff. But with the latest one, it did have us traveling to Niceville as the 6th seed. That could change, but yeah, like you said, we'll figure it out on Sunday and then go from there.
Sully, take it away.
Hey, Colin, congratulations, man. Again, we've talked to you a couple times this year about your kids, all your seniors, what it means, but now being able to represent your school that hasn't been to the playoffs in a pretty long time has to be tremendous. And as coach, it's not really validation, but validation more for your kids. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere last night was unbelievable. And first of all, I want to give credit to our principal, Ms. Susan, and our athletic director, Charles Dunn, for pulling off a game switch. We were supposed to play tonight and senior night and homecoming. Excuse me, but we made the call on Wednesday to switch it to Thursday. Basically 24 hours to figure that game switch to pull off all the logistics of all of this, and obviously not play good football. But the atmosphere was great. To have 36 teams go out like that, which will probably be their final home game, go out on top and finish the regular season 7-3. Got a great crowd on the field after the game. Got a chance to kind of talk to everybody and just talked about our seniors and how resilient they've been. And those guys, a lot of them have battled, 3 or 4 years through a lot of adversity, and to get to a point now where they can be proud and look back, and, that they didn't quit, they didn't walk away, and now, we're back in the playoffs. And, one of our main goals this year in that class was to put the football back on the map. Regardless of how the playoffs ended up for us, they've definitely checked that goal off, in my opinion.
And the thing that you alluded on, a lot of those kids stayed around in today's day and age where, oh, heck, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go there. That's a tribute to you and your staff building the place that the kids want to be and the quality of program you're building. So hats off to you.
Right, I appreciate it. Yeah, you're spot on with that. And that was one of the things we want to try to do is build a culture that the kids want to be a part of, and you're not going to be able to keep them on. We have some kids leave, kids quit. That's fine, but 36 guys found a way to weather the storm and be a part of building something special. And like I said, now we get to keep playing football, and they're excited, and we all are. It's been a great atmosphere, around the community all year long.
Colin Draft's with us, Nice Panthers head football coach, and now you head into the playoffs, and it's just a different feeling, right? I mean, the way those kids are walking around school, the way you'll probably have a feel at practice. I mean, you can sense that. I mean, heck, you could tell them to run for 2 hours, and they'll probably do that the next week, coach.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, once you get to playoff football, and really we've been in that mode. We had the Fleming game, we talked about it, but that was the best practice that we've had the 3 years that I've been here. And Wednesday is always our, Tuesday is always our big competition. We go full gear, and I was trying to shorten practice towards the end of the year to get kind of keep guys fresh. We got ahead of that Tuesday Fleming Island practice and kind of put it on them and said, hey, we can stay out here, compete a little bit longer, or we can wrap this thing up. How do you guys feel? We ended up out there for another 30, 45 minutes just going ones-on-ones, best on best, and that's the type of team we have, and I feel like that's why we played so well that week, why we played well this week, and that we're definitely peaking at the right time heading into the playoffs.
Colin Drafts, good luck the rest of the way, man. You're playing in November and a little deeper into November. Great job with Nice, and best of luck in the postseason. We'll talk to you hopefully again next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks for keeping up with us.
You bet.
All right,
that's Colin Drafts, Nice High School football coach. Coach, you've been around so many different teams. When you have 36 seniors, though, and Bogle comes to mind, the tight end, Stokes, the way he's played, what he's trying to build there. You talk about keeping people, but when you then go to the postseason, how much does that speed up the process of now kind of creating that culture of, well, you might not have 36 seniors next year, but that next group coming in has a standard now,
Yeah, it's standard and expectation and the way things are going to be done. And, it was always sort of funny. We've been around championship teams or teams. Nobody wants to be the PK, the program killer. You know what I mean? So you get that mental, or like at St. Augustine, they've been in the playoffs for 20-something straight years. Nobody wants to be the next group that doesn't make it, that breaks the streak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that inner pride and there's that stuff. But yeah, man, we've talked about what kind of job that they've done in 7-3. 2-18 the last 2 years, and then 7-3 in the playoffs this year is tremendous for those people over there, over off Ray Road in Nice High School.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be something to watch. See if they can make a run now in a district that's been wild. I mean, in a classification that's been wild, right? I mean, you got Fletcher obviously kind of coming out of nowhere. I mean, they're a Cinderella story to win the district and end up in the postseason.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And really, because of that Cinderella story, they may knock a team like Fleming Island out of the postseason.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And Fletcher had a tremendous, drove the field in like 80 seconds and 1-by-1 against Nice, where Nice had the thing in control, missed the next point, missed the field goal during the game. And it's just the way it works out. But you never know. Sometimes, not winning the district, not being the 4 seat, but being the 6 seat may be better than, so you just never know. You just go and play and try to play each game to the end.
All right, Creekside about to wrap up. They're taking a knee. In fact, I think it's over there down there in St. Johns County, 23-19. So that's another nice. Hey, by the way, Coach Steve Price and what he did in the second half of the year really got my attention, too. I mean, you know it, right, because of his time out at NFC in Tallahassee. This is a guy that's been around, and sometimes you can just tell that. We got a lot of good coaches in the area, but Price is a guy that's been around a little bit. You're thinking Kolakowski there down at Tokoi Creek. Those guys, they know how to build it, and I think Ponte Vedra played a really good game tonight, almost pulled off an upset. They played well down the stretch. But for both of these programs, I think moving in the right direction. We've been talking all year about Sean McIntyre and the job they did to get to 8-2.
Yeah, this is the most wins in school history, 14 years of Creekside history, 8 games, and we've talked about Creekside and what they're doing. But the Ponte Vedra story is interesting. Remember, he's like their third coach this year. Remember, they had the guy that quit in the middle of the year last year. Then they had the interim, and then he went through, and then he decided he didn't want to do it, and I don't know. But then Steve came in there and just sort of, those kids have gone through sort of like a pressure cooker type of deal where you got coaches coming and going and leaving and assistant coaches and everything. And for him to come in quality football, and he's been in pretty much every game, but maybe one on the whole schedule. And he'll get that thing back there going out there in Ponte Vedra. Too many resources, too many really good players in that area. So, again, real competitive night, big win last week against Fletcher. And it'll be fun next year to watch them.
Absolutely. So now you take a look as that one goes final. Creekside 23-19. They get the most wins in school history, 8-2. Congrats to Sean McIntyre. They're going to the playoffs. Give you a couple scores now. Baker County 49-21 over Baldwin. So a big win on the road. Atlantic Coast 28-21 over University Christian. Coach, I know you were texting with Coach Mike Montemayor. He might have been busy with Colin Drafts on. So if you want to tell him to give us a buzz back, more than welcome to. Englewood 46-0 over Wilson. They go to 5-5. That's a big win. Not going to the postseason, but what a great season for Englewood. Riverside 28-14. They double up Ed White tonight. Hilliard 12-7 was the score at the last check over Holmes County. Bishop Kenny was beating Episcopal big. And Fleming Island and Oakleaf, last check I have. Let me give this a little refresh. It was 19-17 at halftime. And now you're taking a look at that. Marcel Robinson is there. It's our Friday Night Blitz game of the week. And you can see live action right now of that one. West Nassau just got this score in, 42-15 over Ridgeview. So that score is done. West Nassau gets the win. And let's try to get an update. Let's see. And now I lost Fleming Island. I don't know what the score is. It was 19-17 at last check. But let's see if we can get ourselves an update. Okay, there it is. 33-20. I did refresh. Fleming Island 33-20 in the third quarter. Got kind of a shootout there. Marcel Robinson at that game. Casey, make sure you tell Marcel he's live if he doesn't know it already. But we got him live here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690. And Coach, that's really just like it's a pride game out there, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a pride game. I think Fleming doesn't matter what they do. I don't think they can gain enough points or whatever to get in. But they've been up and down. Really, a young team. A lot of changes with them. They had a bunch of kids graduate last year. They started off struggling a little bit, and then they went to the freshman quarterback, Sebastian. I can't remember his last name, Brad.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Burrows or Burrows. I'm sorry if I don't get it right, but I know his first name's Sebastian with a C.
Yep.
And they've sort of moved the ball, done some really good things. So, again, Ryan Wolf was the OC for the last few years. He left, done a nice job, went to Middleburg and done a nice job. So now they're in a little transition, but they're a young team. Coach Springs will get them in the weight room again, and they'll get going.
Yeah, so that one's 33-20. Buchholz has gone final, 28-13 over Bartram. Bartram's got a young sophomore quarterback as well, Ryan Trujillo. I watched him a little bit. He's got some talent now. The Bears are going to rely on some of their, older players on offense from Eric Weatherly, and they got some backs that can bruise you a little bit. They can be big up front. They're young on defense, but talented on defense. So I would think they're going to rely on that defense to make a run in the postseason. It looks like I think I saw would have Winter Haven. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Winter Park.
Winter Park?
It looks like Winter Park. Yeah, they'll have Winter Park. They'll be I want to say they're going to maybe be the 3 seed. So they'll get Winter Park. The good thing is if they're the 3 seed, they stay away from the 1 seed Sanford Seminole till way down the couple weeks down the road because they're pretty good. That Sanford Seminole.
Are they pretty good? And
defending state champions.
How is Apopka? Because it looks like Creekside could get Apopka. I know traditionally they're very good. Is this one of their better? What are you hearing out of there?
Yeah, I think they're 8-1 right now. I think their only loss is to Sanford Seminole.
Okay, so they're good again.
I think that's true, and I might be wrong on that. I remember, I look at a lot of different teams and stuff over the thing, checking on people like you do up here. I do down here because my buddy Steve Allen's at the land. I got my buddy Jamie Dooley keeps me abreast up there at Jacksonville with everybody going on and stuff. So, but I think they might be 7-1 right now, waiting on the score for tonight's game. And but they're a pretty solid team year in, year out.
They'll have their hands full. So what I was going to ask you, if you take like Bartram, who's been there before and kind of has that that DNA of winning, and then you take Creekside, who's coming off they're really excited to be in the playoffs. They should be. They've done a great job. They're 8-2, and doesn't really know what this time of year is all about. How hard is that to make that jump when you're kind of new to it, especially if you are playing somebody like a Popka, if that's the draw they get? And a Popka obviously has been there every year. They're state championship caliber good.
Yeah, well, now once you get in, it's a one-game season. So, the goal of the week is to be able to come back and play come to practice next Monday. So they're all going to go to practice on Monday to get ready for Friday. So we always talked about, hey, our next goal here is take care of business this week so we could come back and do this again on Monday. So we can come back the next Monday and do it again. We want to ride this thing as long as we can. It's one-game seasons now. The old adage, win or go home. Well, that's what it is, and the kids know it. So usually the focus is better, and they've got a good group at Creekside, a good, solid bunch of good senior kids that have been in and out. They'll be excited for the playoffs. So I think they'll be okay, but they'll have a tall task on the road.
All right, you're taking a live look here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Oakley, Fleming Island with the lead in the second half, 33-20. Marcel Robinson giving us the footage there. So as we do that, Casey, let's take a timeout here on the show. We'll come back, hopefully have some more reaction, set the scene and the table for, what's to come this weekend, which is absolutely huge. As you look at the scoreboard now, they're going to the fourth out there in Fleming Island. The Eagles, Golden Eagles, with a 13-point lead over rival Oakley in Clay County. That's a good one. You keep watching the highlights if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. You keep listening to us if you're on ESPN 690. 2-minute timeout. We'll be back on the Blitz Scoreboard Show with more reaction and analysis and scores on the way on ESPN 690.
Nights of Lights dazzles with more than 3 million lights in the historic district of St. Augustine. Now imagine doubling those lights as they reflect off the water during your tour with Redboat Tours. Avoid downtown crowds by boarding at Beach's Restaurant Marina at 250 Volano Road. Then sit back and let Captain Tony and Miss Jennifer take you on a tour you'll never forget. Don't settle for imposters. Make no mistake, Redboat Tours is St. Augustine's only USA Today Reader's Choice Best Boat Tour 3 years running. Book your Nights of Lights tours now at redboattours.com.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's Best Vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Royal Palm Village Wine and Tapas is hosting its 10th anniversary Grand Wine Tasting Festival Saturday, November 6th from 2 to 5 p.m. Tickets are only $35 and include a souvenir wine glass, over 200 wines, craft beer, and live music. Proceeds benefit the Child Cancer Fund, a local organization that helps children and their families fighting pediatric cancer. Join us November 6th at Royal Palm Village in Atlantic Beach. For tickets and information, visit royalpalmwines.com.
Are you looking for a venue to celebrate your special occasion that guests can't stop talking about? Call Riverside North Special Events and Banquet Hall. We specialize in anniversaries, weddings, birthday parties, corporate meetings, family reunions, fundraisers, graduations, and funerals. This unique, all-inclusive, full-service venue is the way to go. Call us today at 354-4162 and let us book your next event. All proceeds from bookings benefit the Clara White Mission.
Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Tundras, and more. When you're ready to buy a new Toyota, you've got to get to Arlington Toyota. At Arlington Toyota, they've got 300 new Toyotas available, plus interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. 0%. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/November for full details.
Hey, welcome back to the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. We're here until 10:30 with you. Week 11, final week of the regular season. Coach, I just asked Casey, I was like, what is that white box on the video? He's like, that's so nobody has to see you during break. He was talking about me, not you.
I know.
I love it. Hey, this is so much fun. Week 11. We'll go a couple weeks into the postseason is the plan here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. If you don't know about our show, well, you're missing out. You're taking a look live at Fleming Island and Oakleaf. We're giving you live action. Fleming Island, the Golden Eagles at home, up 33-20 as they just entered the fourth quarter. We already showed you Creekside beating Ponte Vedra 23-19. We showed you a little bit of the Nice highlights when Colin Drafts joined us from last night. He joined us here tonight. And now let's talk a little bit more to some of the winners from Week 11 in the regular season. And we go to your old school coach, Atlantic Coast head coach Mike Montemayor. He joins us right now on the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690. Well, another win. You guys have been impressive, 28-21 over UC. I know that one meant a lot to the kids. I think everybody knows everybody in that game, don't they, Coach?
Oh, my gosh, yeah, definitely. Well, stressful to begin with. Let me backtrack again. Brent and Sully, thanks for having me on tonight. But definitely not easy, very stressful. And like you said, Brent, everybody knows everybody. So, I mean, it was a point on both sides of the ball for both teams and programs to come out with a dub.
I think this was a heck of a season for you guys from the outside looking in. Coach Sully knows a lot more about it. You guys talk probably a little bit more than we do. But it started a little bit slow for you, and then you really just looked like you got better and better. You lost two big-time players and probably even more last year. How proud are you of this group to probably punch your ticket to the postseason after a little bit of a slow start?
Yeah, extremely proud, and kind of like the points that you hit on. And ironically, that was the main point when we started the season versus Mandarin is, you're going to be that underdog team all year, regardless of the outcomes of the game or how they turn out. This team is full of underdogs, under-recruited kids, overlooked because, as you mentioned, we lost the Pat Bryants or the Rich Jacobs or, the Malcolm Seaborns or anybody else. We had a big senior class, and we signed a lot of kids. So a lot of guys, didn't see us, returning much as a unit. But that's what I echo to them is I think we're better off as a unit instead of individually talented. And, I was just excited for the season. And here we are hoping when Sunday at 2 p.m. comes around that we're in the playoffs.
Coach Sully, take it away.
Coach, it seemed like he needed a spark. And once again, your boy Fats Walker, 99-yard touchdown run. Is that what happens? That's what I saw.
Ironically, yeah. So, we came out, I don't know if it was the weather all day, kind of, gloomy and dark and windy and rainy. And we just came out flat, honestly. And, Fats, he took it 99 to the house. And that's definitely what sparked the guys on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams. Shawn Michaels set the tone, especially on kickoff, getting us in, good field position to start defensively. And the rest was history. That's definitely set the tone.
That's Fats with a Z, by the way, right, Coach?
Yeah, with a Z. That's Brent's. Baby. Hey, that's Brent's favorite guy, man. He's been talking about Fats since week one. That's Fats Walker, man. Fats with a Z.
I love it, man. I love that. That's awesome. And you're going to ride it. Listen, I do think there's some, Coach Sully, you can talk about this, by the way, but I look at Creekside a little bit. They got Preston Strope. They know what they can rely on. I think a guy like Fats Walker for Atlantic Coast, I think when you know what you can rely on a little bit, right? You have that horse. And now the other team knows you have the horse too, but there's just a confidence in some of those guys, I would imagine. Maybe both of you guys comment on that.
Well, I mean, he's their go-to. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Coachy.
I was going to say, He's their go-to guy, so they know like he's got the ability that every time he touches the ball to score because he's so strong and physical and can really run. And I know Richard Montgomery will be mad because that broke that 97-yard touchdown run that Richard had. So Fats will have the record now. Richard that's probably his last thing anybody will ever remember about now. But no, bogey 4, I guess they'd say it was. But no, so you got your guys, and any chance. So if the kids will just keep going and keep staying on the plan, he's going to eventually break one and get it going. And tonight he breaks that long one down 15-0, and boom, you're back in the game, and it's a ball game then. So that's how I looked at it, anyways.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, Sully, he's been doing this a while, and he knows it. And, I'm just going to echo everything that he just said, and that's where the, kids get their confidence from him. We get some momentum going, and everybody feeds off of that, energy is contagious. Whether it's good or bad. Unfortunately, it was good for us on our end tonight, and we turned on the right side this evening.
Mike Montemayor with us, Atlantic Coast head coach, and I know Sully. Every week he brings up the fact that he hired you. So does he get like part of a district or a playoff appearance, whatever you guys get, hat or shirt or something like that?
Oh my gosh, everything! I owe everything to this man.
No, you don't owe everything to me.
And he took this young and reckless, 20-year-old, and took me under his wing and. Ironically, I followed him over to the west side to Ed White to be a Lemonhead for a little bit. So those were good times, too. But, definitely always good times with Coach Sully.
Wow, he does. He likes to brag on you. He's proud of you, and good luck on Sunday. What do you guys do? What will you do on Sunday? You guys get together as a team and watch it? I mean, how's that work?
I guess it's kind of like, the college football reveal, playoff, that kind of deal. So, just going to be refreshing my Twitter feed. I guess that'll be the best way to find it ASAP. When 1:59 comes, and we'll just see it, and that's when everybody will hop on the huddle and make the exchanges, and we go to work from there.
All right. Well, best of luck. Good luck. I think you get some good news. We hope you get some good news, and don't forget to follow Action Sports Shacks on Twitter. Okay.
Always. Thanks, fellas. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
buddy.
That's Mike Montemayor, the head coach of the Atlantic Coast Stingrays. I really like those. I've been pretty. We talk a lot, Coach, just philosophically, maybe a broad view of high school. And, I talk about this with, like, Bobby Ramsey and Mandarin. I think I see this with St. Augustine. I think you see it with Bartram. You see it with these programs year after year, but they get better, right? We just mentioned it tonight with Ponte Vedra and Steve Price, trying to build that thing up.
Sure.
No doubt they got better. Heck, I even think way down Tokoi Creek, they got better as the year went along. Well, I think Atlantic Coast is in that category, too. I mean, they had a lot to replace. They get a lot better, and now they, I think people will sleep on them a little bit. They have a chance to maybe play good, sound football and upset somebody.
Well, the thing with them, and it's always been that way, you've always had, quote, Sandalwood, the team over off of 9A or 295 East or whatever, and everybody thinks, oh, you got to go to Sandalwood to get recruited and everything. And as Atlantic Coast opened and got things going, and then after I was gone, they had a little down year. But Montemayor's been there. He knows the kids. He knows the area. He knew what he was getting into. And so when he got the job, he knew the first year was going to be tough, and it was. And keeping his kids there and keeping Pat Bryan and Ridge Jacobs and those guys there, and just slowly, methodically building. And then year 2, and then now it's year 3, and he's just moving right along. So it's going to be real fun watching him for the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, and that's a quarter of town where you can get a lot of talent too.
Right.
I mean, we actually thought you'd maybe get a little bit more at Atlantic Coast in the early years, like boom, right away. But Mandarin and then obviously Atlantic Coast and Fletcher, and then you got some private schools in there,
Sure.
So you got a lot of different options. But there's a lot of talent right there. And by the way, Coach, I don't know how long, I don't know the demographic of, they just popped up a bunch of houses right next to the school.
Oh my gosh,
so you've seen that.
There'll be 8A in that. They'll be moving to that district next year.
They will. Now, what happens when you get those new neighborhoods? A lot of times it's like the kids are like 6, 7, 8 years old, so they might have to wait a little bit more to get those kids to high school. But they're going to get a lot. I mean, seriously, if you haven't been near Atlantic Coast in the last couple of years, I mean, it's unbelievable how many houses have popped up in that area. So, hey, you're taking a live look, 33-26 the score. Fleming Island beating Oakleaf. They're going for the extra point. Oakleaf just scored. So, hey, we got ourselves a football game out there in Clay County. No surprise on a rainy night in Northeast Florida. The extra point's good. So it's 33-27, 6-point lead with plenty of time left in this game in the fourth. Marcel Robinson giving us a look live out there at our game of the week for the Friday Night Blitz. The Blitz coming up, of course, in, just a little bit, 10:30 on Fox 30. Bishop Kenny wins 35-14. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Baker County, 49-21. Bartram loses to Buellholz 28-13 tonight. Here's Cedar Creek Christian beating Harvest Community 24-22. That's a playoff game. Providence got postponed or canceled. They lose their last game of the year to weather, unfortunately. Creekside with a 23-19 win over Ponte Vedra. Keystone Heights no longer undefeated, 33-14 loss today to PK Young. Bowles canceled as well. St. Augustine wins 35-0, and now they have to watch at 2 o'clock on Sunday and see if the computers do some good work for them because they are on the outside looking in. Coach, I will say this. I thought we would get a lot more canceled games Fortunately, we didn't. You and I talked about this afternoon on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. I don't know what they'll do next week with the Tokoi Creek Menendez game that they wanted to play on Tuesday at like 6 o'clock. I feel bad for really Providence. They're 3-6. This was their last game for the seniors, even though it was on the road. Bowles in a really interesting situation, because they've lost 2 straight games. And again, it might have happened more recently, but it just doesn't feel like they have lost 2 games in a row very often in the regular season. Hey, Oakleaf, if you're watching this, just recovered the kick.
They just got it, yeah.
Now they got a flag down. Marcel, look how good Marcel is. He points us right to the flag. I mean, that guy is good, Marcel Robinson. You're watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and it's a 6-point game, and Oakleaf just kicked off, recovered, and now there's a conversation about this flag on the field, and they're going to meet up and talk about it, so we'll see what shakes out there. But Bowles loses 2 in a row. They have the game canceled tonight. They have a bye next week going in the playoffs, Coach. How difficult is that? Basically, they haven't won a football game in a month by the time they take the field.
Well, I mean, I think it's difficult, but I think for them, they'll get the bye in the first round. So it's just going to depend on the mindset. But again, like I said, I talked to Coach Hoekstra today, and Josh has been around this area a long time. And he said that they're really disappointed because they really wanted to play. They had a bad taste in their mouth from the last loss. And they've had 4 games canceled this year, and then they had to pick up 2 or 3 at the last minute. And, and that's hard on them anyways. And then losing the last 2, not playing this week, got to get a bye next week. So you're going to basically not win a game for a month, but you're not going to play a game for 3 weeks. And so I don't, they can rest kids or whatnot, but it still doesn't come out and keep you a little stale or whatnot. So I think they'll be okay, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're built for the postseason. They have a lot of postseason experience. By the way, it looked like an illegal touching call. We're so used to it in our day and age, if we're watching Oakleaf recovered a kick, onside kick-ish, if you will, and then it was illegal touching, and I'm waiting for the replay. Hey, Marcel, Can you give me a replay?
I was looking. I thought it was Marcel running the replay for us. I was like, come on, Marcel, give it to us, buddy.
Hey, if we can get to replay mode here on the Blitz Scoreboard show, now we're really onto something. I already think we're doing something nobody else in the country is doing, showing you live video of this one. It's 33-27, Fleming Island in the lead. Let's go to break. When we come back, you can keep watching this if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But keep an eye on it now, middle of the fourth quarter. Golden Eagles up over rival Oakleaf by 6, and Oakleaf has some momentum. You can really tell they're looking to get the ball back and maybe steal a win on the road. We'll steal a timeout. We come back. Blitz Scoreboard show rolls on. Committed to the Uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports, coming up. Plus more scores and reaction on the way on this final week of the regular season, Week 11, here on the Blitz Scoreboard show.
You were lied to when buying a timeshare and want out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900. 800-507-4900.
If you have an unpaid tax debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved Irs Relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-664-0353. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-664-0353. 800-664-0353. 800-664-0353. Community Tax. Who's your tax guy?
Tonight's game on ESPN 690 is sponsored by Cora Physical Therapy, now open in Kingsland and soon in Brunswick. At Cora, we do getting better, and faster. Call or come by for a free screening. Learn more at coraphysicaltherapy.com.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. It's Friday night. This is the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Welcome back, everybody. 10 o'clock hour. We'll take you for about another 20, 25 minutes here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Live look right now on the social media platforms. Again, we've been doing this show now 2 years. It's a lot of fun. Kevin Sullivan with us, our Hall of Fame head coach, with all the analysis of the playoffs about to happen and each night of football and some of these games. We're joined by coaches. We have scores. We'll have committed to the uncommitted in just a couple of moments here, presented by Baker Sports on the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690. But really, we think we have a lot of fun. The best part of this for you is if you look on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, because you get to see some live action. We already showed you Creekside tonight. We're showing you right now Fleming Island and Oakleaf. In the fourth quarter, Oakleaf scored, looked like they got the kick back, but it was illegal touching. And now Fleming Island's putting together a heck of a drive late in this game to try to go ice the game up by 6, and they are inside the 20-yard line. So you can keep an eye on that if you're on the social media platforms as well. And we've seen some fantastic finishes here in 2021. So far this year, right here live on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. You can see under 5 minutes to go in the game. Marcel Robinson, we're going to give him a shout because he's doing the camera work amongst about 10 other things he has on his plate for the Friday Night Blitz, which is coming up on Fox 30, half-hour edition. All the highlights will make sense of the whole night on the TV side of things, 10:30. On Fox 30, the Friday Night Blitz. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, Casey Kurtz here on the Friday night, Week 11. Overall, this has been a heck of a season, Coach, right? I mean, we're not done. We got a couple weeks to go in the postseason, but this has been an entertaining football season. And I do think this RPI and the number crunching that keeps people alive, I think it certainly adds to it. There might be a couple of wrinkles that always need to be fixed, but it looks like this thing's here to stay.
Oh, yeah, I think it is. I think the guys like it. They like having a district champion in some of the classifications. I know the 4A, 3A, those aren't big enough to break them in that way, so they just do the RPI. But I know it still means something. We talked about this earlier about playing for a championship, being a district champion. You know, it's just one of those things that you can always relate to and everything. And speaking of that, we just got a late score. Jackson 13, Rebolt 0 has gone final.
And so in those other Jackson playoff bound,
yes.
Jackson feels pretty good. That's a nice win, a shutout win over Rebolt. By the way, Fleming Island just scored. That could be the clincher. 4:40 to go. Fleming Island just got in to make it 39-27. Heck of a drive right there by the Golden Eagles as they look to try to finish this season with a win over rival Oakleaf. But Jackson, we've talked about them. It's been a nice story. Coach Foy's done a terrific job. That was another one of your good hires, Coach, as you were the athletic director at Jackson.
Yep.
But all the adversity, I mean, it feels like forever ago we were talking about the adversity of Jackson. They lost a couple of coaches, and I mean lost, like passed away. I mean, that's tough on young kids, and you look up to your coaches, and especially those guys that they lost. So, I mean, what a heck of a year to be able to go to the postseason. It's got to be an emotional trip to the postseason, I would think, for Coach Foy and that group.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Coach Rocker, who was the offensive coordinator. He was 27 years old to a massive heart attack first week of spring football. And then they come back, and in middle of July, that Lynn J. Shell that everybody knows on the north side, he was an interim coach at Ribault, head coach there, but he's coached in the area at Ribault, and then he was coaching at Jackson. And he lost his life. He passed away in July, and that's hard on anything, one coach, but having two. So those kids have sort of stuck it together, and that's been sort of their mantra and everything. And the thing that I like what Coach Foy's done is he's played Raines, and he's played Lee, and he's played Fletcher, and he's played, you know what I mean? He's bringing back some of the traditional things that we did all those years when I was there, of playing the games that matter and count. And the kids are buying in, and they lost some kids. They lost 3 starters, transferred out, and they just kept playing with the kids that want to be there. It's a tremendous effort. They're probably going to end up being maybe the 3 or 4 seed, but they're going to get a home playoff game. And then we'll see what happens down the road. But they've got a really nice group of kids, a really nice team led by, of course, 4-star junior class of 23, Grayson Howard, the linebacker.
Yeah, Pup Howard, he's been terrific, and he is a fantastic player. Again, when you have that stud guy, I mean, they can carry you. They can help you, and he'll play both sides of the football, too. He'll get it done on defense. He'll carry the ball if they need him to get a big yard or something like that. So so many of these teams that are making it to the postseason have that. I think this year we talked about Class 5A, just how competitive that was, and a lot of schools in the mix. As you look at this, is that still kind of 5A, the one that has so many schools that have opportunities?
Well, 5A in our area, I think we're going to end up with 6 of the top 8 seeds in 5A.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
It
almost doesn't look right.
Yeah, because you got the Raines and Terry Parker. They're in a 4-team district, so they're 2 in, and then BK, Kenny, Ed White, and Baker in the other district, and they're all going to get in. So it's interesting. There are going to be some rematches in that. Well, if the thing holds, because Raines right now coming in today was the 1 seed, so they could end up playing the 8 seed, which would be Parker week 1.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy, man. The whole thing's sort of crazy.
How tough is it to prepare for the postseason, especially somebody you might not know? Listen, if Raines plays Parker, there's probably plenty of coaches you can call. You maybe played them already. You see, you have rematches like Columbia and Riverside. You have some of those. But then there's others like, if who do we bring up? Nice might have to go play Niceville, right? Yeah, Niceville's usually good, but that doesn't help you out this year at all. Does Huddle do the trick? I mean, can you get enough off Huddle, or do you make phone calls and call people or what?
Yeah, you call people I mean, of course, the film nowadays is so much easier. You push a button, you get it. It wasn't like in the old days. We tell our coaches in the old days we used to VCR the tape, get up. We drive to the bus station. It'd be on the bus at 11 o'clock. They'd pick it up at 6 in the morning. You'd go back to the bus station at 7:30 and pick up their film. Then you go to the field house, and then you dub it on VCR tower. Oh man, people they don't even know, Brett. They don't even know the struggle back in the day.
They really don't. If there are kids listening to this, they're like, "What the hell is he talking about?" I've never heard of half that stuff. A bus
but
station,
that's what we used to
bus,
do.
VHS,
yeah, a bus. And
you might as well say courier pretty soon.
Yeah, it's true. It might have been the Pony Express.
It is amazing how that's changed. And that was not that long ago, really.
No, that's probably in 2000 and it was DVD, probably 2005 or 6 maybe, and then DVD became basically 06, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I think 11 when Huddle and that all started, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
It was when we went to Atlantic Coast because I didn't know what any of that stuff was. So they're like, we got to buy this, coach, and I'll be like, all right, let's buy it. And we were new when we started, so I didn't know how to use any of that thing for about 4 years, man.
Brent Martineau and Kevin Sullivan. By the way, you're watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. How about this? Oakleaf just went down and scored in like 33 seconds. So wow. It's now 41-33. I think they're waiting the extra point, so to get to 41-34. And hold the phone, not done yet. Out there at Fleming, you're watching it live. Marcel Robinson giving us a live picture at it. Hey, if there's one head coach that could crunch some numbers, if he knew the formula exactly, It's this guy. Brian Braddock joins us from St. Augustine High School right now. He's a math guy, I believe, so maybe he'll get that calculator out, and he's got the formula somewhere in here. I'm not so sure, but he got a win tonight, 35-0 over Palatka, the oldest rivalry in the state of Florida. Coach, thanks for joining the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690. Great win, and have you pulled out the calculator yet?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, we're starting that process right now. We've got the Navarre Gulf Breeze game on TV and just ordered some pizza and are doing all the calculations for Rickards because their game's over. They lost, and that's a team that was ahead of us. And then we got to do all the calculations for Escambia because they could catch us, and then we'll see what happens with Gulf Breeze. So not the way you would want to spend the Friday night of a big senior night win. I'd rather spend it just enjoying our seniors, but that's what we'll be doing.
Yeah, Brian Braddock with us here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show, right on the edge. What's your gut feeling, and what do you need to happen in that Navarre game to have a better chance?
Well, we need Navarre to beat Gulf Breeze. That would be helpful. But we may. It all depends on the opponent's winning percentage and the opponents with Rickards. Because based off of last week's metrics on those two, we would pass them. But again, I got to look at what all their opponents did. It's kind of an awful situation to go through and find all those teams and find all their records.
Yeah, what's the score?
It is what it is.
What's the score of that?
The Navarre Gulf Breeze game, it's 21-7 Gulf Breeze, unfortunately.
Okay. So keep an eye on that. You are a math guy, though. Even though you're on the outside looking in, do you like the way the format is shaken out? Probably a bad time to ask you about that.
Not this year. No, not this year, right, Brian? Not this year. I'll be the runner-up and be in.
Yeah, no, I don't like the fact that I don't like the fact that I'll put it this way. I mean, the system is what it is, and if we don't get in, then we didn't do good enough work to earn our way in. And it is what it is. But it makes me rethink how I'm going to schedule in the future because we lost a game to a Bulls team that we were leading in the second half. And you'd like to think that experience makes your team better. We lost a game to Bartram Trail that we were winning with 4.5 minutes left. You would like to think that playing an 8A school with 3,000 kids, it's as good as they are, makes your team better. And then we lost a game last week where their opponent kicked a field goal with 22 seconds left to beat us 17-14. They went 8-2. So I don't know. In this system, that wouldn't be good enough to get in possibly. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Sully, let me ask one more question. You also lost a game to COVID, I think, and I don't think you were able to make that game up. Would that have helped you if you did play that extra game?
This is where I'll say, but maybe. I mean, Denellan's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Denellen. That's who you lost.
If you win, it helps you. But if you lose, and that's why. And here's my only issue. And my buddy Sean McIntyre is on the FHSA advisory board for our region. Sean, he's kind of a 0 to 60 guy, as you guys know. And some of the stuff we've been talking about, he's been explaining to FHSA is it's hurt. It's not about the kids when you start crunching numbers. It didn't. Sean. And I don't want to speak for him, but there were some people might think it would have been better for him to lose tonight for his matchup next week.
Right. Yep.
We played a game in a monsoon tonight because we had to play it. I'm going to lose out on possible teams that could have won because they didn't play tonight.
Right.
That would have helped us. Instead of knowing you're in the playoffs or knowing you're not in the playoffs and putting everything into senior night, you're worried about a whole bunch of other stuff. I could have rescheduled a game and made sure that my seniors had 10 games. But that wasn't in our best interest to do that in our bye week because the only people that are going to play St. Augustine that short notice are going to be really good. Well, that would be a great opportunity. And most years, good, we get to play a really good team. But you can't take that risk in the RPI world. So I don't think it's in the best interest of the kids when you start to think that way.
I mean, I don't think the strength of schedule either, Brian, figures in as strong as it should either on who you're playing and if you're 4A playing 8A or you know what I mean. If you're 5A playing 8A,
it doesn't take into account that we played a Bartram who has 1,100 more kids than us. It doesn't take that into account. So again, no, I football is a tool to teach life lessons to these kids, and if we don't get in, the system is what it is. And there's good teams every year that have the same plight in the last 3 years. Well, I shouldn't say that in the last 3 years. Everybody got it last year, but 2 years ago it happened. Remember, 2 years ago, I was 7-3 Navarre. Navarre's a great poker. They didn't get in. So it is what it is. If we wanted to get in, we should have played better last week and won our district. But so it goes. We'll see. We'll crunch these numbers, and if we get a chance to play, we'll get the dubious honor of having to get on the bus and go 7 hours out to that school.
Right. Well, I hope you do get to do that, take that trip for your seniors and for the rest of your kids, because you guys are a really good football team, no doubt about it. And good football teams should be in the playoffs. This whole stuff was built because you want bad teams out of the playoffs, like 2-8 kind of teams. But you want good teams in the postseason. Let's leave you with this, Coach. You guys still do burn to the shoes last night, or are you still doing that? And say something about those seniors that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we did it last night, and it was awesome. It was a great group of seniors. It was really heartfelt. Kid after kid walking up there with notepads of things they had wrote down. They wanted to make sure they didn't forget about to tell their teammates and say to their coaches, and a lot of tears and a lot of hugs. And it was awesome as it always is. And super proud of this group of seniors. They had a couple district championships last year, 1 point away from a state championship game, and hopefully we'll get to go to the playoffs again this year. But a great group of kids, high character kids. So disappointed after last week, but they came out this week and had just a tremendous attitude. They led our football team. They had sparks in their eyes tonight on senior night to go play. And a lot of teams would have been just, in their woes after last week, and our seniors led us. Just proud of those guys.
Great job.
Right,
I hope the numbers work out on Sunday, and terrific season nonetheless. You guys do a great job down there, and appreciate taking a few minutes here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Hope you all have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. That is Brian Braddock, St. Augustine High School head coach. He's a really smart guy, Sully. He knows, he's got really well thought out answers to those questions, and obviously everybody's got opinions. And I really I think you could ask him this question if they get in, and he would say the same. I don't think he's wavered by their experience. I think he would have told you this at the beginning of the year, 5 weeks into the year, because I've had these conversations with him in the past. So there's always flaws in the system.
Yeah,
and
but
this
it is the system.
You said this, but
you play.
Hey, you said this all year though. One of the problems, 6A is just loaded.
Loaded. It's crazy. And if you look at all the RPIs from everything like that, there were like 12 teams bunched in from like 646 to 573, and there's no other classification like that close. It's pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting when I really wrote it down a couple of weeks ago and started really looking at 6A. And there's some good football too. Like there's some really good football teams in that 6A. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. Really good teams out of the Panhandle, and, of course, Riverside and Lincoln and Rickards, and now Gulf Breezes, St. Augustine, and Panama City. It's just really good team.
Yeah, really good. We're taking a live look, by the way, if you're watching here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. That is Fleming Island and Oakleaf. Fleming Island trying to just pull this one out and run the clock out. Oakleaf won't go away, and there's a nice defensive play on first down. But time is going to be an issue here as there's just a couple minutes left. Fleming Island with a one-touchdown lead. Let's get to committed to the uncommitted here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show, presented by Baker Sports. We appreciate Baker Sports and, of course, UNF Ospreys for their support of our Blitz Scoreboard Show. And, Coach, we got Baylor Newsome, running back, outside linebacker for Bishop Kenny. How about this? This guy knows good timing because he had a pick six tonight in that Bishop Kenny win.
Yeah, and I think he had a rushing touchdown too.
We're showing it live right now. That was the touchdown run too.
Oh, all right. That's
pretty
a good call on our part, on your part. I will say that one. That's your part.
I will say this too. This is what I like about this, and we've tried to involve the fans and people to say, hey, let us know if we're missing somebody. Well, I'm assuming it was somebody that was related to Baylor, but they gave us a shout out yesterday when I was telling everybody about this segment if they haven't seen it. And this is a young man who, again, I think he's got a recent offer to Southeastern Louisiana, which is cool. But some of just late in the game, COVID, if you've never seen the segment, Committed to the Uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports, we highlight some guys that are being overlooked, class of 2022 right now, because of COVID, because of maybe just we've had guys that change positions or late into the game of football and they don't even know about them. And so it's really been a fun segment. And Baylor Newsome from Bishop Kenny, a team that's going to the playoffs. He has a pick six and a touchdown run today, but he's been getting it done. I mean, even last year, he was one of the top tacklers in the area in the state. Once again, this year, hard-nosed guy. So he's starting to get the look, starting to get the offers. And we have a lot of players like this in the area, Coach. You've coached a lot of players that you're like, man, this guy should play at the next level.
Well, I mean, he's a really good leader, too, because he can do so much. Really good athlete, really good student. Again, he's been in the program, and he's gone through the 2-18 the last 2 years. And for them to come out, really play solid football, really do some real positive things and make the playoffs in a really competitive 5A district. He's one of the leaders on the team.
Yeah, so Southeastern Louisiana University got an offer recently, just 2 days ago, by the way, from them. So he'll be playing in college somewhere. Best of luck to Baylor Newsome, committed to the uncommitted. Once again here on a Friday night Blitz Scoreboard show, and we'll continue to follow along with all our committed to the uncommitteds through the postseason and beyond. And I think that's what we might do, Coach. We might give an update in the next couple of weeks on some of the guys we've highlighted and see what kind of season they had. But Baylor Newsome, Bishop Kenny, he'll be playing at that next level, committed to the uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports here on the Blitz Scoreboard show. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. We're putting a bow on Week 11. We're putting a bow, Coach, on the regular season in high school football, and now it's the second season coming up next week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Once sort of Sunday gets through, it's going to be fun. Heading into next week, first round of playoffs, anything could happen, just like week one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, by the way, Fleming Island looked like they scored another touchdown, so I guess that game's about to be over with 3 minutes to go. That game is lasting forever. You can see some of the scores. Growing by, too, if you're watching Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. But let's give you one more rundown of the scores before I run downstairs and head on TV for the Friday Night Blitz. And we'll bring Coach in and let him go onto a nice weekend, hopefully. St. Augustine, we just had Brian Braddock on. They beat Palatka. I think it was a 103rd meeting between those schools, longest in the state of Florida, the most in the state of Florida between two schools, 35-0. Palatka gets the win. Keystone Heights loses its undefeated season. PK Young beats them 33-14. Creekside, we watched that one together here on the Blitz Scoreboard show, 23-19 over Ponte Vedra. They are going to the postseason. Santa Fe beats Eaglesview 36-18. Nice season comes to an end for Eaglesview in their postseason. Cedar Creek in the postseason moves on over Harvest Community 24-22 in the SSCA. Buchholz beats Bartram. Good football team, gets its 9th win, just the second loss for Bartram, 28-13. But Bartram's the district champ in Class 8A, and they will be going to the postseason next week. Bishop Kenny beats Episcopal 35-14. We just mentioned Baylor Newsome as are committed to the uncommitted. Touchdown, run, and a pick six as well in that game for Bishop Kenny. Baker County beats Baldwin 49-21. Atlantic Coast 28-21 over UC. Inglewood gets to 500 on the year. Congrats to them. 46-0 win. Riverside over Ed White 28-14. Hilliard 20-7 win. Clay beats Orange Parker, was winning pretty big. Fleming Island now 49-33 with a couple minutes to go. Nice last night beat Westside 39-0. Trinity Christian lost to Lincoln 19-6 last night. Mandarin over Fletcher 26-20. Sandalwood 33-14 over First Coast. And West Nassau beats Ridgeview tonight 42-15. Coach, when we do this again next week, we got the playoffs, and now it's about keeping guys alive in Duval County and making a run.
Yep, that's what it's about. Week one of the playoffs is like week one of the regular season. Anything can happen.
Coach, let's get Tim Krause on real quick before the end of the show. And Coach Krause coming off a heck of a turnaround. We're going to end our show in about 2 or 3 minutes, but we want to get him in real quick. Tim, thanks for giving us a buzz. Congrats on another win, and congrats on a heck of a season. After just a couple wins over the last couple years, how about 8-2 record, I think it is, or looks pretty good. Is that right, 8-2?
7-2. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you an 8. I'll give you 8 if you want. I mean,
I know. I wish we would have gotten that other one in, but that's all right.
Hey, you guys playing good football. Any tough loss? We talked about it. Coach Sully and I talked about tough loss to Ed White, but I mean, it's been a heck of a year. You guys have been getting it done in all different phases.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've played pretty well all year. To be honest with you, I'd like the first half back against Baker County, and other than that, I mean, I think we played toe-to-toe with Ed White. It's obviously a really good football team and just didn't get it done in the end. But, we've played, I think, complete football, and I think we're tough out in the playoffs because we've got a really good group of kids that's going to play hard for each other, that loves each other, and I think it's going to make us a challenging team to face in the playoffs.
Sully, take it away.
Hey Tim, have you looked a little bit? What are you thinking? Are you going to get Wakulla, or are you going to get Baker?
I think just based on the numbers from what we felt like, I think we're going to go to Wakulla. Based on what happened tonight, I think
that'll be a good task, good trip for your guys if it ends up working out. I just think with the Baker County win tonight, they might jump reins and that might get pushed around. But I don't know. 1 and 2 may flip, but I don't think the rest of them are going to move much.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't think North Marion had a shot at getting anywhere else. So we'll see. I think it kind of depends on where Ed White comes out because I understand they lost tonight. So.
Yeah, they did. Tim Krause with us. Coach, we just had committed to the uncommitted, highlighted Baylor Newsome. Give us a thought on that young man. One of your seniors came up big tonight, pick 6 and a touchdown run, it looked like.
Yeah, that kid is special now. I mean, I've coached a lot of football players, and he is a really, really special kid. I think in pretty much all facets. I mean, he's big-time, explosive, fast kid, but to me, just really special with his work ethic. He came in, he was a freshman, he was 120 pounds, and ended up now he's, a 220-pound senior and just a really dominant football player. Is a dominant running back for us, too. We try to not give him a ton of carries, keep him healthy, and, that's worked out well for us. But, yeah, special kid all around. I mean, somebody's going to get a really, really good football player wherever he ends up.
That's great. I appreciate it. Tim Krause, thanks for jumping in here the last minute with us here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Good luck in the postseason. Congrats on a heck of a regular season this year.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Tim Krause, Bishop Kenny, head coach. Nice win tonight, 35-14 over Episcopal, 7-2 on the season. Heck of a turnaround after the last couple years. All right, Coach, that's going to do it. I got to hustle down and do some TV.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, that's the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Thanks to the UNF Ospreys. Check out UNFOspreys.com for their schedules, results. Big volleyball match coming up tomorrow. Basketball starts on Tuesday on the road, but you can get your season tickets for the basketball season, UNFOspreys.com. And as always, thanks to Baker Sports for their support of our Blitz Scoreboard Show. Friday Night Blitz on TV coming up in about 4 minutes. If I make it downstairs that fast. I'm not sure I'm in that good a shape, but I better say goodbye. Have a good weekend. Catch the FSU Seminoles on ESPN 690 tomorrow. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening here to the Blitz Scoreboard Show.